10 countries going bankrupt due to COVID. Hello, and welcome to Mr. Deep Pocket. Last year was terrible for whole planet and nobody can expect it will be later on become so worse that nobody can even dream it. Millions of people affected and died by COVID and many countries are going bankrupt. In the result, their economy is crashing. Let's have a closer look at the countries. Before we start, subscribe to our channel, Mr. Deep Pocket, so you don't miss any upcoming video in future. Let's start with number 1. Number 1. USA. The United States of America is number 1 in the world with the highest number of cases. The numbers we're receiving from authorities are inexpressible. Millions of people are testing corona positive, and in result thousands of people died and counting. Due to this unexpected virus, whole country is going bankrupt and facing issues regarding economy and public health. The answer to this bankruptcy is, in the country, every 1 in 4 people are struggling to pay their bills and have had to dip into emergency funding retirements and other savings. And every 1 in 6 have borrowed money or received money from a food bank, and 4 out of 10 people have lost their job. This terrible corona situation has left the country dependent on vaccine availability because the number of casualties increasing dramatically. Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech have requested emergency authorization for the vaccine to go ahead in the US, so the number of casualties could be avoided. The next country going bankrupt due to COVID is number 2, Italy. The coronavirus badly affected Italy, and it has been brought to its knees with close to 1.5 million cases and more than 50,000 deaths. An Italian paper indicates that COVID-19 had been in Italy since September 2019, which could mean that the history of the virus would need to be amended. Fortunately, the second wave is calming down, but hospitals are critically short of trained staff to support those affected people. With the virus, debt, unemployment, and fear is rising among the Italian people, but with the goal of running vaccines could be a glimmer of hope for Italy. We suggest Italian people to stay safe. The next country affected by COVID is number 3, UK. UK is also among the most affected countries with a huge number of COVID-positive cases and thousands of casualties. Yet they were facing first wave in the UK and now had a modified form of a virus has burst the number of cases and infection rate boosted dramatically. All incoming and outgoing flights have been cancelled. The patients are depending on the availability of the vaccine. New form of virus has shocked the world with its infection rate. The country is under enormous economic, trading, and traveling crisis. The country whose prime minister was also affected and quarantined. We hope to see vaccine availability soon as possible. The next affected country is number 4, India. It is no secret that before COVID, India was already grasped by an economic downturn. COVID has badly affected India and take this country down on its knees. The biggest reason is criminal negligence by the Federation. Prime Minister Modi has mismanaged the issues regarding independence movement going on in different states like Kashmir, Khalistan, and Nagaland. Since August 2019, Kashmir is under curfew for over 8 million army troops are killing innocent youngsters and they've arrested the whole political figures. And sadly to say, these troops have raped thousands of women in the whole state. Since last December, farmers are protesting against the biased Modi administration. The capital of India is surrounded with armed forces, not letting the farmers to protest. This is the least condition of country's massive unemployment. Bloody conflicts between the majority, Hindus and all minorities including Muslims, Christians and many economic factors are taking India back on its knees, and how we can imagine a country under so much disaster can conquer the COVID situation. Over 1 million positive cases and thousands of deaths, India is also seeking for vaccine. Number 5. South Africa. South Africans began their lockdown journey in March with strict restrictions. No visiting, a ban of alcohol and cigarette sales, everything shut down for business. Even the beaches were considered unsafe. They've moved from level 5 to level 1, and just when they thought freedom was around the corner, they started to get fatigued and the numbers rose drastically in a country where most people live below the breadline. This has paralyzed them. Lines of hundreds of people snake outside of post offices so desperate people can collect roughly $23 to last them a month. Millions more are now unemployed, and many businesses have closed their doors forever. The South African mutated form of COVID has taken the country in bankruptcy. This situation is terrible, and the unemployment rate has hit a record high of 30.8%. It will take roughly a number of years to recover. The next country is number 6, Turkey. Before COVID, things were already tough in Turkey. President Tayyip Erdogan had been on a path of growth. At any cost, he has jailed his opponents and seized their assets to protect those borrowing, so he could finance monuments in his honor. Don't forget his White Palace he calls home. Let's give you an idea of how many enemies he has jailed. The number is massive, over 50,000 people including journalists, police officers, soldiers, academics, and policemen. The local currency lira has fallen and investors have taken their money out of the country. And the unemployment rate is over 10%. The virus is worsening Turkey's economic woes. Hoping to see the availability of vaccine. If you're enjoying the video, so hit the like button and share with your friends. The next country is number 7, Indonesia. Indonesia is among the top countries badly affected by COVID. Australia is loaning $1.5 billion to Indonesia to help get them through this surprising financial disaster, and foreign investors have quickly dumped government bonds. And more importantly, the local currency crashed in a country that depends so heavily on tourism. This pandemic is a huge economic blow for its people. The country has seen over 500,000 people infected with the virus, meaning they have the highest numbers of contaminated cases in Southeast Asia. Not a milestone they were hoping for. It didn't help even the aged members of cabinet suggesting herbal mangosteen juice, eucalyptus necklaces, and good old-fashioned prayer for those who are infected with COVID. Hence, Indonesia has officially entered its first recession in 20 years. The next country in our list is number 8, France. French government is doing everything possible to avoid a third wave. France has already been badly affected by the virus, and there is a slight ease in their lockdown measures with 3 steps put in place to fight the situation. But still, there's no unnecessary gathering allowed. The French President Macron confirmed that the second wave was circulating at a speed that even most pessimistic forecasts had not anticipated. France had close to 2.2 million infections and roughly over 50,000 deaths. Sadly, hospitals are nearly at capacity and many have closed because they are literally full, and the economy has dropped by 12%. The Prime Minister Jean Cast is wanting France back on its feet within 18 months and has unveiled a €100 billion coronavirus recovery plan, hoping to bring the economy back on track. Number 9. Russia. The Russian news agencies are reporting packed morgues and excess deaths, which is very different to the pristine, well-managed, and under-control message that's being sent out. But Russia has had over 2 million cases, yet not even 40,000 deaths. Many suggest that true figures are being hidden, and the death toll is far higher than reported. It wouldn't be good for Russia to report an exponential boost in deaths, especially with their Sputnik vaccine showing 95% efficacy to date. Yet Russia has not had a lockdown, with authorities encouraging people to keep a safe social distance and to wash their hands, of course. There has been huge economic losses, but if the vaccine is as effective and as cheap as they say, then Russian stocks will reach record high in 2021. But public is protesting against the government. The last country on our list is number 10, Brazil. It's been a struggle from the start for Brazil, because many deaths could have been avoided if the virus had been taken seriously from the get-go. But now there are over 6 million confirmed cases and deaths in the region of 170,000. The federal government blatantly ignored facts. The primary health care is severely lacking. Funding to the most susceptible came far too late, and there were serious hesitations in getting necessities to certain regions. The government is now facing a $112 billion refinancing ridge early in 2021, despite numbers increasing dramatically, and government is accusing technical complications or just a temporary increase with ongoing mayoral elections. But we hope to see decrease in cases and casualties. Let us hope how COVID affected your country. We value your opinion in the comments. We hope to see you in the next video.